time I've done this in, I think, over a year at least. But I figured I'd make a video on this because I'm sure some people are wondering in some way or some form. But as some of you may or may not know, the items in the new game mode Arena is they're mostly the same to the Summoner's Rift items, but they're a little different. They do some different things, mostly just buffed up just for fighting in situations like that. It's not really much of a wave clear utility thing. It's more just, this is just pure damage. And I mean, it makes sense for what the game mode is. But I am a Riven main. I've been a Riven main for the past 4 years almost. I've reached Plat 1 as a peak so far. Then I got sick whenever I got to like Plat 1, almost Diamond 4, and I decided, hey, I'm going to play when I'm sick, and don't ever do that. that is a great way to end up back in Plat 4. So yeah, it took me a little while to even get up a bit further past that, but oh well. I guess second part of the split would be better. But basically what I've been doing so far in the few games that I've played of Arena, I've only played like 4 or 5 games of Riven in Arena, I'm pretty sure. But the one thing I can say is it seems to be like lethality is the best way to go. What a surprise. You know, a champion with high AD ratio on ultimate and on passive kind of just makes sense. Lethality would go the best. And of course, I mean, augments and whatever the hell they're called, prismatics or whatever the hell they're naming it this time around. This variant of things that replace runes, it kind of can change on that, but overall, I've kind of, and I mean, some people may disagree, but some people may also agree. This is something that I've just been doing personally because it feels a bit better as a rush item, and that's Axiom Arc. This is this one. So your ultimate abilities deal 25% increased damage. So your ultimate, since you have lethality and you're also going to have the I think it's called Guardian Stirk. Guardian Stirk, yeah. So you're gonna have this to begin with. So you're gonna have 30 AD, 10 lethality, and ability haste. And then you're going to get this, which gives you 60 AD, 21 lethality, and 25 ability haste. That's 90 AD right there alone, as well as 31 lethality. And of course, like the prismatics and augments and stuff that you can get can change this and make this even higher. Well, with that amount of AD and lethality, and Riven's ultimate scales off of the amount of AD you have and heavily boosts it, and lethality gives, ignores a certain amount of armor. Your ultimate ability deals 25 increased damage. I feel like this is just a good thing to rush as Riven's ultimate because you're going to go up against people that aren't really going to have much armor, so that 31 lethality is just going to absolutely shred them. And you could possibly get like Brutalizer or something like that before you get your first item anyways and get even more. Or get something else that gives you AD. And that would make it where your ability would deal 25 increased damage. Since they're probably at best only going to have like 40 or 50 armor. Of course, your mileage may vary because prismatics and shit like that. This is going to make it where your ultimate that already has an execution range damage. It's not really a true execute, but I mean, close enough. That's going to make it where this hits really hard in the early game. This is just something because I've also gotten Duskblade as a rush item, which is the item that I would recommend going as a second item instead of rushing this as a first item, because while it does make your abilities deal I think it's 25%. It doesn't say on this, but I'm pretty sure it's 25% in Arena. While it makes it where your all of your abilities deal more damage, it just doesn't exactly. One, it doesn't give as much haste, but I mean, it gives the same amount. And I mean, you don't really have to rush a mythic on Riven in particular. And it's guaranteed that, your abilities deal, ultimate abilities deal 25% increased damage, where this will be 25% increased damage based off their missing health instead of just straight up. You can pretty much just one shot anyone at half HP with this item and your ultimate, which is why I recommend rushing it over this, as this does not. You're only going to have I think 12 or 13% extra damage. I could be wrong. I'm not exactly sure where the threshold begins. I think it hits maximum damage at 20% HP, but I could be wrong. But yeah, this is kind of just the setup you're looking for. And then after that, you can go for I don't know, let's say they are rushing a lot of armor. Go Cleaver. I'm pretty sure this is the one for, right? Or am I dumbass? No. This is definitely the one. This is definitely the one. I kind of wish they had a thing like they were for ARAM Summoner's Rift, but they don't, because Riot Games. Why would they? But you go for Cleaver if they're rushing armor. Personally, I think Edge of Night could be a better item after this, as it just gives more lethality, and it's just kind of the extra stats that you're going for overall. Oh shit, there's second. Oh no, this is the one. Yeah, 17 lethality. Yeah, this might be better after that, because you already get 5 ability haste and movement speed based off of this as a passive anyways, so Cleaver might not have to be directly after this, and you can just go straight for this, but that's just me. Gives a little bit more damage just straight up. This will do more damage after you fully stack it, but I mean, in a 2v2 situation, if you're both focusing the same person, they're probably going to be dead before this gets fully stacked anyways. But in a game where it's gotten later on, if you got to the point where you can get to a 4th item, or 5th item, I guess you should say, because this, you should definitely get this if they're rushing armor, if it's Malphite Rammus or something like that. Then after that, you could go, let's see, I guess for boots, I'm going to go ahead and just put this in anyways. Lucidity boots, pretty much every single game. Merc treads can be a bit better in certain situations, but normally, I mean, you're Riven, you're very reliant on your CDR, so this is just kind of what you're looking at. And then there's, let's see, you could sell this if you absolutely had to for, well, I mean, you should if you get this far into the game, I guess, for I would say LDR, because if you're selling it for armor pen, for anyone who's played Arena, I'm pretty sure you know as good as I do, they're going to be incredibly beefy in HP if they have armor also, as some prismatics just give a ton of HP. So this is kind of what you're looking for. If I'm not mistaken, Serelda's gives more pen in this game mode. Yes, it does. But I don't know. This also gives, against champions with more max HP than you, which most will have because you don't build a bunch of HP on Riven anyways. So you take that out, roughly you'd be looking for a build like this. If you absolutely have to sell boots, which I recommend doing, some people don't, but personally I think it won't matter too much. You go for GA is probably the most consistent item to do as a replacement item. I think everyone can agree with that. You could also go for Bloodthirster. Yeah, I'll go for Bloodthirster, honestly. You don't really need Hydra in the 2v2 game mode. It's not really needed like you can go for it. It's not bad. It's just you're already gonna get an ability haste off of this, and the AOE is nice, but unless they just go, the people you're going up against just Giga Ape and go for Chauffeur, which just attaches you to them, which is absolutely troll and go, by the way. That's really the only situation I can think of where you would ever go for that over this. It just syncs better with a build because you already have some crit. As you can see, you basically just go for like a full damage build. I recommend GA more than this, but I mean, do whatever you feel like. But yeah, this is more or less what you're looking for. Just ton of lethality, armor pen, a little bit of life steal at the end. And for some reason, they have this as a basic prismatic and not like a really like broken one. They don't consider it broken. I mean, it is, but they don't consider it broken. But if you've managed to find the one that where you build multiple mythic items, I would say this setup right here is likely what you're looking for. And then still go Axiom because the syncing between Axiom and this, because this gives 25% increased damage on your ultimate abilities, and this gives it where your abilities have execution damage up to 25%, I'm pretty sure is what it is in the Arena game mode. It's 20% Summoner's Rift and 25 in Arena, if I'm not mistaken. So this you would still go for no matter what, even with that prismatic, because it just syncs incredibly well with this, and you just end up pretty much one-tapping people with your ult. I mean, you normally do anyways, but you definitely will with this setup. And, obviously still in this certain situation where you get that, you'd still go Lucidity Boots because, yeah. Merc Treads is an option, but, you are playing Riven at the end of the day. And Riven's weakness is mostly low base AD, no sustain, and is very reliant on cooldowns. And, this plugs up one of those holes, giggity. So I hope some people at least found this useful. Obviously, I'm making this the night before it hits public servers, so it's not like this could be good down the line later on, but as of now, it's pretty decent. So at least someone, if I even help one person going with this, as I have tested out some builds with stuff like this is what I view to be the best. So, yeah, uh, shit on kids and your mom gay.